Campus Duffy from the Libre Initiative, Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov, and Trump supporter Harlan Hill. Good to see all you guys. Very big day. I mean, let's talk about what each candidate needs to do. You know, for Hillary Clinton, I think she needs to come across as trustworthy, likable, things that are kind of hard, frankly, for her. And, you know, he needs to come across as very serious. So with that in mind...
Which is difficult for him.
Who has the tougher road ahead tonight?
Well, without question, the trend is against Hillary. Over the weekend, I smelled a little bit of panic in Brooklyn. You know, they see tightening polls. They see that there's growing momentum for Trump, and there's this enormous enthusiasm gap. Mm-hmm. So she needs a game change moment. And when she feels like her back is up against the wall, we saw this in 2008, she takes risks. And I'm looking out for that. To
see what kind of risk she might take.
Yes.
Jessica, you know, I kind of think that if she sort of stays the course, she might be just fine. I mean, if she takes some of these risks, as Harlan points out, that might actually be more dangerous for her to do.
More dangerous, and also could have a greater payoff. I mean, we know that Hillary Clinton is steady. We know she knows the facts. She's been doing this a long time. You know, she has 30 years in public service versus Donald Trump with none, obviously. So I don't think the audience is looking to see, you know, who knows more about the details. They know that she does, but they're looking to see if she's relatable, if there's someone that they want to listen to for the next 4 years, and if she's someone who shares their vision for America. I think that's a word that's been left out a lot.
I mean, I feel like she doesn't have a shot at being more relatable, Rachel. I mean, like, even if she tries...
But there are a lot of people tuning in who haven't been paying attention yet. You're talking about 100 million people here. There are people, I mean, obviously they know what's going on because this has been kind of the reality show election. But they're going to be seeing the two of them next to each other for the first time, which is a pretty big deal.
Could it be surprisingly boring, though, because of that, Rachel? I mean, because both of them know that there's so much at stake, and you can't turn it into a reality show. You really need to come down to substance tonight.
Yeah. Well, be sure that he's got a couple zingers in his pocket that he's going to pull out that are going to be memorable. But you're right in that, you know, it could get boring, because if I was Donald Trump, what I would want to be doing right now is talking to moms, because what we're seeing is in the suburbs of Pennsylvania, even Wisconsin, Virginia, Nevada, Ohio, these are suburban moms who maybe voted for Obama but tend to vote Republican, but, you know, we're leaning towards Hillary up until, I think, about a week ago, when the domestic terrorism stuff started happening. And the New York stuff is scary for the Pennsylvania moms. That's kind of close to home. But let me tell you, St. Cloud, Minnesota, that strikes fear into the hearts of moms, because if it can happen in St. Cloud, Minnesota, it can happen anywhere, and that's scary.
And people are afraid of him, though. Let's be frank about this. They're afraid of him because they think that he's too wild, that he's too spectacular. He's like he's a high beta stock, right? You know, he can go one way or the other. And so does he then need to convince people that he will be slow and steady? Yes. To a certain extent, Harlan, tonight?
Absolutely. Look, we've seen this from Donald Trump before. For instance, when he goes on teleprompter, we see a totally different Donald Trump. He's very reserved. He's very calculated. He's careful with his words. And I think that we'll see that tonight. And if he can fulfill that obligation in front of 100 million Americans tonight, he has the chance to change how people will perceive him.
Okay, so if you're her, you don't want him to do that, right? Can you say something? Can you try and get under his skin a little bit so that, Jessica, he comes forward and, you know, just lashes out in a way that will not look productive for him?
I don't think that she's going to get him, and I don't know if it helps actually to get him to scream something like, "What do you have to lose?" or "I want to ban all the Muslims." But what you can do is you can push back, right? You can say, "Could you give me a little more detail about that?" Because that's where Donald Trump is actually failing in the policy prescriptions, in the meat of his policies. And I think
but how about how you can needle her? I mean, do you remember this moment?
Yeah.
What difference does it make? I mean, she can also, it also gets under her skin,
absolutely. Too. I mean, the two of them can be volatile, him way more so than her. But, you know, he's had great success with a totally different audience than we're going to be having tonight. The GOP primary looks very different than a national electorate. He needs 65 million votes.
That's true.
She never gets pushed the way that he does.
That's not true.
He has to face a very hostile media. all the time. And she has had the most favorable press corps that any candidate for president of the United States has ever had.
Well, I mean, look, the press was sort of on her side. Let's say they liked Bernie because he was entertaining for a little while, but they were in her corner in a way that they just have not been.
When we talk about nonstop, the email scandal, the Clinton Foundation scandal, and his own charity, which funnels money from other places into donations, and he takes credit for,
but not,
that he's getting the that she's getting the email.
So does the Gates Foundation. The Gates Foundation does the same thing.
You're saying that Donald Trump and Bill Gates are equally philanthropic?
Their foundations operate the same way. They will take money from other high net worth individuals.
Harlan,
I got a couple women on set here, so I want to move it on to how does he come across measured and in charge without seeming in any way like a bully? And let's be frank in that it may be more challenging with a man and a woman up there on stage. She tends to do well in that sort of victim category. So Rachel, well, she does. Her poll numbers always shoot up when she looks like a victim. So if he comes out at her hard, that may actually be a disadvantage to him. How does he balance that?
It is a tough balancing act, but I think he has the advantage. People right now want someone strong. They're not looking for a weakling because we have really big challenges. Let me tell you this is a change election. And you can say all her experience and she has this and she has that, but what has she used her experience for? Her experience has brought us terrible decisions, beginning with leaving men to die in Benghazi and all the way down to supporting an Iran deal. I'm sorry, some of the immigration and not acknowledging the fear that people have with some of the Syrian refugees.
We don't disagree there, but
I know you agree that that's a problem. But right now it's about reassuring people about security and also their economic security.
Let's take a look at that stage out there. Let's go back to showing the stage there. Hofstra University, where all of the folks are trying to give a bit of a walkthrough. They've had their walkthrough. You see a lot of people on stage trying to get set up for tonight. How much is the crowd going to matter, Harlan?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they can't applaud, can they?
They're not supposed to. But I've heard,
if they were,
let's talk about what Mark Cuban, front row, who was sort of designed to try and freak Trump out to a certain extent. He, of course, was backfiring with Jennifer Flowers over the weekend.
Well, what a brilliant move by Trump to counter that. I mean, he's showing that, if you try to put my feet to the fire, I'm going to respond.
I'm going to, in an election where I need female voters, I'm going to bring out the mistress of the woman's husband to shame her. That's a brilliant move to pull in female voters.
You know what happened? Mark Cuban backed down. He's not going to be in the first row. Trump got his way. I mean, this is...
Would you ever say that Trump does anything wrong?
It also needs to shore up Republicans. And Republicans do like that kind of strength. They're kind of sick and tired of how the...
Strength of bringing the mistress?
Well, what I'm saying is they, bring a gun. You bring a knife, I'll bring a gun. They kind of want somebody who's going to stand up to the Clintons and not let them get away with it.
Never Trumpers are still not into him, but we're going for independence now.
That's true.
I know that you guys agree with this. And independents don't want a blowhard. They want strength and they want security, but they don't want a bully.
I should point out he's bringing a Gold Star mom and a Benghazi survivor.
Smart
thank you so much. Good to have all of you here watching tonight, and I'm going to see you guys in a little bit. Make sure you do watch our special coverage of the debate and our breaking analysis. Lou Dons is kicking things off for us at 7 p.m. At 8 p.m., Neil's taking over, and I will be there alongside Neil, Lou, and our Fox Political All-Stars live from Hofstra University tonight. Tonight's showdown has a whole lot of parallels.